Good morning. Today is May 16th, and this is our regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. I will call this meeting to order, and our first order is our invocation, which we have every meeting here. Today's invocation will be given by Daniel Fennelson, an El Paso County resident of District 2. Please, I invite you to join us if you would like.
Would you all bow your heads with me? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much that we live in the greatest nation on earth, that you have blessed us so immensely during our time. God, I just ask that you help our county, our city, and our nation turn back towards you and the ideals that made our nation such a wonderful place to be. God, I ask that you bless this meeting, give the commissioners discernment and wisdom, allow for good decisions to be made here that will bring honor and glory to your kingdom. And Lord, we pray these things in your holy and blessed name. Amen.
And Commissioner Williams, would you like to lead us in the pledge? Item 3.
Item number 3 is staff emergency items, and there are none today.
Thank you. Item 4.
Item number 4 is changes, postponements, and notice of the next meeting. I'm unaware of any changes or postponements today, and our next meeting will be today at 1:00 p.m. for land use matters.
And I'm going to just note here for those in the room, though there are only 3 of us here, we do have 2 commissioners virtually today, just so that there's an awareness of that. So we will move on to item 5.
Item number 5 is the consent calendar, inclusive of items 5A1 through 5J4.
Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak on an item on the consent calendar? Okay, hearing none. Are there comments from commissioners?
Commissioner Williams, I'll move approval of 5A1 through 5J4.
I'll second.
Okay, that has been moved and seconded. Do I, one more time for anybody who has a question or comment, I want to make sure commissioners online have an opportunity as well. Okay. All right, so I will call the roll. Commissioner Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf?
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Aye.
And Chair Bremer?
Aye.
And the Vice Chair votes aye. That carries unanimously. Item 6.
Item number 6 is comments by elected officials and commissioner liaison reports.
Okay, we do have a few folks here. Are there any countywide elected officials who'd like to take a moment to speak at this time? Okay, so go ahead over to Commissioner Williams.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here. I wanted to, particularly today, in this Mother's Day that we had last weekend, I really missed my mom. She's been gone for about 5 years. And I wanted to thank my mom for her advice and guidance, and also for my sister. As you know, today's the end of about an 18-month journey for me, and I'm looking forward to being a full-time commissioner again, and just being able to relax and enjoy life a little bit more. And I appreciate the support of all my family and friends during this time. It's been quite a roller coaster ride for our family. So then also too, I wanted to mention 2 people that have passed away in the past 2 weeks who are very important friends to me. Chuck Hulte, he's been a member of one of the clubs I have been in, and the husband of my dear friend Pat Hulte, and he passed away on May 3rd. They're both patriots. They're both liberty-loving individuals. You couldn't walk in the house without everywhere seeing something that had the American flag on it. Many, many fun times with Chuck, and my prayers are with his family. The other person who passed away was a Gold Star mom, Cleo Allgood. She passed away on May 10th. Her son, Brian Allgood, died in 2007 in, I believe, the Afghanistan conflict. And then her husband died a few years ago. Cleo was also a very, very dear friend. And to lose one of our Gold Star moms, I'm sure that she is very happy to be reunited with her son and also with her husband. So I wanted to honor both of those individuals today. They were very close friends of mine and longtime friends, and I was saddened to hear of their passing. Finally, I'm just going to mention a few meetings coming up in my district that are important. We are going to have our first Fox Run Nature Center public meeting to start making the community aware of what is going on with the building of the Fox Run Nature Center. And this one, I believe, will be at Antelope Trails Elementary School in Glen Eagle at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. And we will be discussing the plans and the progress on this nature center, something that we are very, very excited to see happen in Fox Run Park. It's going to be beautiful. It will add to the park, and it will be a wonderful place for children and families of all ages who have spent many years in this park to be able to enjoy a whole different side of the park by building this center. And then also there is a meeting on May 23rd, which is, I believe, well, I know it's next week. And this meeting is at Palmer Ridge High School. It is a joint meeting between El Paso County Public Works Department and the Town of Monument. The Town of Monument over the next probably 2-3 years is going to see a lot major road construction. You won't be able to drive anywhere without seeing a construction barrier as we start the Highway 105 project, which is a Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority project, and as the Town of Monument also starts their Jackson Creek Parkway upgrades. So be prepared if you live in Monument for a time that you might not be able to get anywhere, and hopefully by the end of the summer we will also be able to put Beacon Light Road out to bid. And so it's going to be either way you go, you will run into construction, and I am very, very excited to see this progress. So both of those are public meetings. Very much like to see as many people as possible at those so that we can show the plans, discuss the procedures, allow people to know how they can get updates. Those are my announcements this morning. Thank you.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I appreciate Commissioner Williams' comments regarding Mother's Day. I had the opportunity to call my mom and also my mother-in-law, wish them both a happy Mother's Day, and they're both still with us. And of course, we all know how important moms are, and I love both my mom and my mother-in-law. And it was great to talk with them about celebrating them. Just as a reminder, but I think everybody knows, today is Election Day for the mayor of the city of Colorado Springs. Please, please vote. If you have not voted, please exercise your right. Failing to vote means you're giving your right to vote to somebody else. Somebody else will vote for you and elect somebody instead of you. So it's so important, and I just ask that everybody do that. I also want to talk a little bit about some national news. As you may know, there's some newspaper articles. There's one in the Gazette on the front page about it's looking like the current administration does intend on keeping Space Command here in Colorado Springs. That I think is a wonderful triumph, and I just want to express my appreciation to the county team for doing an enormous amount of work where we went up to the Hill and talked about the merits of why it would save $10 billion to keep Colorado Springs right where it is, and why it would reduce mission risk by keeping Space Command right here in Colorado Springs. And I believe if I'm understanding this right, it looks like maybe the merits of the issue will prevail and carry the day, and I just am thrilled by that. Also, I want to mention also a little bit about the Durham report. Many of you may have read this also in the Gazette. In his 306-page report, he found that there was no proper basis to launch the investigation, the Trump-Russia investigation that was carried out by the FBI. Some of the quotes in this article is that the FBI launched this investigation, quote, without any significant review of its own intelligence databases, without collection and examination of any relevant intelligence from other U.S. intelligence entities, without conducting any views or witnesses essential to understand the raw information, and without using any of the standard analytical tools typically employed by the FBI in evaluating raw intelligence. Now that's corruption at the FBI. This to me is we got plenty of huge issues running around that we're all trying to deal with, but this is a massive issue. This says we can't trust the FBI. That's a sad day. But I encourage everybody to read the Durham report and make your own conclusions. All right, on to several things that I'll be doing. Tomorrow, I'll be participating as a voting member in the State Board of Health. And on, on Thursday, I'll be going to the Planning Commission for El Paso County will be taking place. I may or may not be able to be at that meeting. But also on Thursday, I'll be going to the Armed Forces Luncheon at 11:30. And at 4 o'clock also on Thursday, I'll be going to the DPICS name-changing ceremony. Please keep in mind that on Friday, let's see if I get this correct, on Friday, we will have at 10 a.m. the Pikes Peak Region Officers Ceremony, and looking forward to that out at Memorial Park. And then on Saturday, I'll be going to the General Aviation Pancake Breakfast as part of my duties being a liaison to the Airport Advisory Committee. And then Monday next week, I'll be participating in the county's retirement board meeting, and that'll be at 8 o'clock on Monday. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Vice. I am not there today. I'm representing the county at our National Association of Counties Western Interstate Conference. And so I'll be focusing on our breakout sessions here related to wildfires, water, and emergency management. What I'm going to try to focus on the the presentations going on this week's conference. And so the first time I've attended the Western Interstate portion. I believe it represents 14 the county commissioners from, I believe, 14 western and southwestern states. And so hopefully we get some good information on this. The other things going on, I feel bad not being able to those that are holding our Peace Officers Memorial on Friday, because that'll be a travel day for me from the conference. And so always want to highlight our law enforcement professionals and first responders, especially any losses that we have. And we had that this past year as well. So I just want to please pass that along to our sheriff and the local police departments on my behalf. And then really, that's all I have on that information. I know we got some votes later that I'll be participating in where we'll get a little more information. But thank you for today.
Chair Bremer.
Yes, can you hear me in there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. So thank you to all of my colleagues actually for facilitating keeping things at the county running well. As I am speaking of Mother's Day, I am caring for my mom who is recovering from a medical crisis. So thank you to my colleagues for helping make sure that our citizens are still well taken care of. And I'm grateful to the AV team in particular. I'm actually on 4 different devices trying to make sure I can hear and participate and know what's going on this morning. So thank you to them for making sure that I can still be an active participant, because we've got a lot of great and important business to do today. That's all for me.
Thank you. And so for me, I want to just touch on a couple of things that are happening this week. I have both a Pikes Peak Library District board tomorrow evening, as well as fair advisory. We're getting close to the fair this summer and looking forward to continuing to hear about the plans that are being made there. I do want to highlight that we will be having our regular board meeting, our next regular board meeting in Calhan, out at the fairgrounds. So it's a great opportunity for our Eastern residents to be able to attend one of our meetings in person. The hope here as we take the commissioners on the road is that we are more accessible to our community by moving throughout the county. So I hope that we will have folks come out and join us. I also am going to be participating in a town hall meeting on May 27th with our local state representative, Don Wilson, as well as our clerk and recorder, Steve Schleicher, I believe, is going to be there. Steve, if you're, yep, okay, it's giving me the nod here. So, also Sheriff Joe Roybal. So I think we have several county elected officials that are joining us at that event. That's going to be at Liberty Tree Academy in Falcon from 1 to 3 p.m. So look forward to seeing residents and having conversation around concerns there as well. Also want to, good news about Space Command. Want to say a huge thank you to Commissioner Vanderwerf for the work that he is doing on that front, as well as all of our government affairs staff who I know are also hard at work on that. So thank you for your work in that space for our community. And that is all that I have today. So we can move on to item 7.
Item number 7 is community service organization reports, and there are none.
Item 8.
Item number 8 is public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. This is the public's opportunity to comment on an item not scheduled on today's agenda. And Madam Vice Chair, I did see Mr. Tom Martin is here.
Mr. Martin, would you like to come forward, sign in, state your name for the record, and as you know, you have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Martin. We all know why I'm here. I'm still really, really distrustful of this county commission. When I see the amount of campaign contributions taken from different organizations and then the rezoning that allows to happen after that. I think that we're kind of on our way, like Joni Mitchell once said. Cut down all the trees, put them in a tree museum, then charge everyone $1 just to see them. You're taking the beauty of this county and the reason that people love to be here, and all you're doing is creating sprawl. You're creating ways that you can't even maintain the development that you're approving. We already know there's all kinds of traffic issues. We have air and water issues. We have social issues. We have crime issues. Adding more people to this county is just going to add to all of those problems. We can't take care of the problems that we currently have. Growing up here was a very different place than it is now. And I see you newcomers here I call you newcomers. And it seems like you think that you have all the answers, but I truly question that. I think if anything, our land use code and our master plan should be doubly as strict as it currently is. I've studied both of them for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I especially don't like the politician taking literally hundreds of thousands of dollars from the development community and then helping them develop the county. You folks don't like when Denver crams things that you have to do, and you complain about it every time Denver comes up with a new regulation. How do you think your long-term residents feel when they've lived in a ranchette with 5 acres in Black Forest and you approve an apartment building right next to them? It's a sad place we're going, and it's misdirected. Thank you.
Are there any other individuals who would like to speak for our public comment period? Okay, seeing none. Item 9.
Item number 9 is the called up consent calendar, and there are no items called up.
Item 10.
Item number 10, resolution authorizing litigation against the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment regarding implementation of the Collective Bargaining for Counties Act to remedy an unfunded mandate against El Paso County, Colorado, and to afford relief from uncertainty and insecurity with respect to legal relations between El Paso County's Board of County Commissioners, non-board elected officials, and supporting entities. Nathan Whitney, First Assistant County Attorney, and Kenneth Hodges, County Attorney.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nathan Whitney, First Assistant County Attorney. I will keep my comments brief today, but before you is a resolution to authorize litigation in the form of a declaratory judgment action. That is not an action for money damages, but an action to declare parties' rights and responsibilities under a written document such as a statute. And the 2 statutes at issue in the proposed resolution are Colorado's Collective Bargaining for Counties Act and Colorado's unfunded mandate statute. Thank you.
Are there questions from commissioners? Okay. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on this item? Okay, hearing none, if we have comments from commissioners or a motion? Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate very much the proposing of this resolution by the staff to the Board of County Commissioners. I really do think this is very, very important. And for those of you that have had an opportunity to read the resolution, it may be perhaps obvious after going through it. But I think, just the second to last paragraph, that if we do pass this resolution, we'll be authorizing the county attorneys to pursue litigation against the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment and any other necessary parties to seek a remedial declaration that clarifies the board's rights and obligations under the Collective Bargaining for Counties Act to include whether the CBCA is an unfunded mandate, because there's in fact legislation from the state regarding the proffering of unfunded mandates to local government. So I do believe that this is appropriate to proceed with, and I look forward to the vote. I don't know if we're ready for a motion or if someone else wishes to make a statement.
I wanted to thank our county attorney's department for their incredibly hard work on this and spending a lot of time working through the issues related to this. I did want to say that I believe the collective bargaining statute is not clear as to the definition of county and whether or how the commissioners are supposed to bargain with respect to independent non-board elected officials. And that is why I'm in support of this suit. Thank you.
Any other comments from commissioners? Commissioner Williams, or excuse me, Commissioner Gonzalez, did you have a comment?
Human Vice. Yes, I'm supportive of this resolution. I think I and others on this board made a lot of comments on certain aspects of this and whether they were constitutional and legal. So we're asking the fair question the right questions on does this violate, as we just mentioned, unfunded mandates laws, as well as other separation of powers. There's concerns that this will be forcing perhaps county commissioners to be involved in departments that are run by other elected officials. And there are great concerns about whether that is also a violation by this state law passed last year. So I think these are very relevant and important questions to get answered properly. So I will be supporting this.
Chair Bremer, did you have comments as well?
I do. My colleagues have said it well. This is about clarification. And anytime we can clarify exactly the definitions, our expectations, then we can more clearly serve our citizens and our employees in a way that is really our duty to do so. So I think I'm glad to see our county attorney's office being proactive in, this has kind of been a changing goalpost all along. And even as the rulemaking and other things are getting closer, and as we come up against the deadline for actually implementing this, knowing what we're actually dealing with and expected to do is incredibly important. It's going to have an impact on our upcoming budget session for the next year, which, we're already beginning to put together.
And I'll just add to that, I appreciate all of the comments of my fellow commissioners. I spent quite a bit of time on this during the last legislative session and lots of conversations with other commissioners around the state. And, one thing that continued to come up is the confusion over the way that this policy is written and how we are to proceed, and also respect the independent authority of countywide elected officials. And those questions linger today. So I do think this is important. I also think it is important to really have a clear path forward when it comes to having such a large unfunded mandate. And I think that's, we talk about unfunded mandates periodically here, but this one is quite large, and the impact is potentially very, very big for residents. So I also am in support of this, and I'd be happy to take a motion.
Madam Vice Chair, may I make a motion? Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing litigation against the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment regarding implementation of the Collective Bargaining for Counties Act to remedy an unfunded mandate against El Paso County, Colorado, and to afford relief from uncertainty and insecurity with respect to the legal relations that we have between the El Paso County Board of County Commissioners and the non-board elected officials.
Second.
That has been moved and seconded. I'll ask one more time. Are there any additional comments from commissioners? And seeing none, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf.
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Aye.
Chair Bremer.
Aye.
And the vice chair votes aye. That carries unanimously.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Item 11.
Item number 11 is department and committee reports and non-action items, and there are none.
Okay, and at this point, we're going to put this meeting into a brief recess to deal with our PID meeting, and then we will come back and deal with our last item, the executive session. So this meeting stands in recess. And I will call to order the Pioneer Village Roads Public Improvement District meeting, item 1.
Item number 1 is approval of the 2023 Pioneer Village Roads Public Improvement District Proposed Graveling Work Plan. Kevin Maston, Executive Director, Department of Public Works. Joshua Palmer, County Engineer, Department of Public Works.
Madam Vice Chair, these are actually just standard items that that I believe are set to go forward. I believe that the supporting documentation is already in backup. But
Okay.
I actually didn't see Josh come down until I started talking.
Josh Palmer, County Engineer. I'm here to answer any questions, but like Mr. Hodges indicated, this is pretty typical for what we do. We support and facilitate the improvements to the Pioneer Village PID for their annual maintenance program, which includes typically graveling, grading, necessarily improvements. So that what you have in your packet today is our recommendation on the work that we would recommend doing for 2023, which is pretty much just a continuation of what was done last year.
Okay, any questions or a motion?
This is County Commissioner Gonzalez. This is in my district. We do this annually, get road improvements. It's a PID they started on themselves, self-funded. We facilitate the contract for, and then they have portions of the road that they annually get gravelled based on their PID board's recommendations and our recommendation as well. So I move to approve.
Commissioner Williams, second.
Okay, any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez, Chair Bremer.
Aye.
And the Vice Chair votes aye. That carries unanimously. Item 2.
Item 2 is a request to approve the Pioneer Village Roads Public Improvement District March 28th, 2023 minutes. Jackie Allred, Clerk to the Board Manager.
Questions, comments, or a motion?
I move approval of item number 2, the Pioneer Village minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, I will call the roll. Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Aye.
Chair Bremer.
Aye.
And the Vice Chair votes aye. That motion carries unanimously. Being finished with our business, we will adjourn this PID meeting, and we will call back to order our regular BOCC meeting. Item 12.
Item number 12 is the addendum, and there is an addendum today, request for executive session 13A pursuant to CRS 246402(4)B and E. The County Attorney's Office is requesting an executive session regarding the following matters pertaining to potential litigation regarding Colorado Senate Bill 23-303, reduced property taxes and voter-approved revenue change, and Colorado Proposition HH. 1, conference with the County Attorney's Office for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions related to legal options to challenge SB 23-303, including litigation. And 2, determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators. Kenneth Hodges, County Attorney.
I move to go into executive session for the purposes stated on the record.
I'll second.
Okay, I will call the roll. Commissioner Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Vanderwerf,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Also, I'd like to make a statement. We normally don't make a lot of statements on this. My statements are not part of the executive session, but this 303 was the bill that I believe is a bait and switch to the state. Will be asking taxpayers to pay for our property tax reduction potential Tabor excess funds. It's a bait and switch trying for the state to try to keep long-term our Tabor excess funds, our taxpayer funds, and I think this is outrageous that they even passed this bill. Thank you. And I vote aye.
Chair Bremer,
Aye.
and the Vice Chair votes aye. That carries unanimously. We will meet upstairs for the executive session, I think at 9:40.